The world watched in horror. The flames of conflict ignited once more. World War II, a global catastrophe, had begun. From the bustling cities of Europe to the remote islands of the Pacific, the shadow of war touched countless lives. Millions were caught in a maelstrom of unprecedented violence and destruction. The very foundations of civilization seemed to crumble under the weight of hatred and aggression. The seeds of conflict were sown in the aftermath of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to ensure peace, instead bred resentment and instability. Economic depression gripped the world, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root. In Germany, Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party rose to power, fueled by nationalism, racial prejudice, and a thirst for revenge. Across Europe and Asia, other nations, driven by their own ambitions, prepared for war. The world stood on the brink of disaster. The fragile peace, so painstakingly crafted after the Great War, lay shattered. What followed would be a conflict of unimaginable scale and ferocity, forever etching itself into the annals of human history. The world would never be the same. During World War II, over 30 countries were involved in the conflict. Today, the world comprises 195 countries, a testament to the enduring quest for peace and unity. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, imposed harsh penalties on Germany, including significant territorial losses, military restrictions, and hefty reparations. These conditions led to widespread economic hardship and political instability in Germany, fostering a sense of humiliation and resentment among its people. The global economic downturn of the Great Depression further exacerbated these issues, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root. Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party capitalized on this discontent, promising to restore Germany's former glory and seeking to overturn the Treaty of Versailles. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan sought to expand its empire, driven by a desire for natural resources and regional dominance. In Europe, Italy, under the leadership of Benito Mussolini, pursued its own imperial ambitions, seeking to recreate the glory of the Roman Empire. The League of Nations, established to maintain peace, proved ineffective in curbing the aggressive actions of these nations. Efforts to appease these powers, such as the Munich Agreement of 1938, only emboldened them further. The invasion of Poland by Germany in 1939 marked the beginning of World War II, as Britain and France declared war in response. The world was plunged into a conflict that would last 6 years, involving over 30 countries and resulting in unprecedented destruction and loss of life. The war would see major battles such as the D-Day landings and the use of devastating new weapons, including the atomic bomb. In the aftermath, the world would be forever changed, with new political boundaries, the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, and the establishment of the United Nations. The enduring quest for peace and unity continues to shape our world today, a testament to the lessons learned from the devastating conflict of World War II. The dawn of September 1st, 1939, broke over Poland. The silence was shattered by the roar of Luftwaffe bombers. German forces surged across the border, unleashing the full fury of their blitzkrieg tactics. World War II had begun. Poland, caught in the jaws of a merciless assault, fought bravely but was quickly overwhelmed. The German invasion, swift and brutal, sent shockwaves across Europe. Great Britain and France, honoring their commitments to Poland, declared war on Germany. The fragile web of alliances, woven in the aftermath of the Great War, unraveled, dragging nation after nation into the abyss. The world watched in disbelief as the Nazi war machine rolled across Europe. Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium and France fell in rapid succession. The speed and ferocity of the German advance were staggering. The world held its breath, bracing for what seemed like an inevitable Nazi triumph. The United States, initially hesitant to enter the conflict, watched the events in Europe with growing concern. The attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, shattered America's isolationism. Japanese aircraft, appearing out of a clear Sunday morning sky, launched a surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack, a devastating blow to American morale and military might, galvanized the nation. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, in a stirring address to Congress, declared war on Japan, proclaiming December 7th a date which will live in infamy. America's entry into the war, a pivotal turning point in the conflict, transformed the global balance of power. The sleeping giant had awakened, its industrial might and unwavering resolve poised to tip the scales against the Axis powers. The early years of the war were marked by Axis victories. German forces, seemingly invincible, stormed across Europe, while Japan expanded its empire in Asia. The tide began to turn in 1942. The Battle of Midway, a decisive naval engagement in the Pacific, crippled the Japanese fleet. On the Eastern Front, the brutal Battle of Stalingrad saw the Red Army inflict a crushing defeat on the Wehrmacht. The tide of war was shifting, but the path to victory would be long and arduous. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces launched Operation Overlord, the largest amphibious invasion in history. D-Day, as it became known, marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. Section 5, Voices from the Front, Soldiers' Tales of Courage and Camaraderie. Amidst the chaos and carnage of war, stories of extraordinary courage and sacrifice emerged. Soldiers facing unimaginable horrors displayed remarkable bravery, resilience, and compassion. Their stories, often untold or forgotten, offer a glimpse into the human cost of conflict. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, soldiers fought not only for their countries, but for the comrades in arms who shared their hardships and triumphs. Bonds of friendship forged in the crucible of combat transcended national boundaries, reminding us of our shared humanity even in the darkest of times. Letters sent home, often censored but filled with longing and love for families they might never see again, reveal the emotional toll of war. Diaries capturing raw emotions and moments of reflection amidst the relentless fighting offer a poignant testament to the human spirit's ability to endure. Section 6, Unsung Heroes, Ordinary People, Extraordinary Deeds. The war touched the lives of countless civilians far from the front lines. Ordinary men and women thrust into extraordinary circumstances displayed remarkable courage, resilience, and compassion. Their stories deserve to be remembered. Women took on traditionally male roles, working in factories, shipyards, and on farms to support the war effort. Children endured rationing, air raids, and the separation from loved ones serving overseas. On the home front, every sacrifice, however small, contributed to the eventual Allied victory. In occupied territories, resistance movements, often operating in secrecy and at great risk, fought back against Nazi oppression. Individuals risked their lives to shelter refugees, smuggle information, and sabotage enemy operations. Their acts of defiance, fueled by a belief in freedom and justice, stand as a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Section 7. Through Enemy Eyes, Perspectives from the Axis Powers. It's crucial to remember that history is rarely black and white. While the Allied cause ultimately triumphed, understanding the perspectives of those who fought on the other side is essential for a nuanced understanding of the conflict. For many Germans and Japanese, the war was a fight for national survival, driven by a complex web of factors including economic hardship, nationalist sentiment, and the influence of propaganda. However, it's important to acknowledge the atrocities committed by the Axis powers. The Holocaust, the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews and other minorities, stands as a horrific testament to the dangers of hatred and prejudice. Examining the experiences of ordinary soldiers and civilians from the Axis powers, while condemning the ideologies that fueled their government's actions, allows for a more complete understanding of the war's complexities and its enduring impact on global consciousness. Section 8, The Price of Victory, A World Scarred, Lives Forever Changed. Victory in World War II came at a staggering cost. Millions lay dead, victims of the insatiable appetite of modern warfare. Cities lay in ruins, economies were shattered, and the political landscape of the world was irrevocably altered. The war left an indelible mark on the human psyche. The horrors of the Holocaust, the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the countless other atrocities committed during the conflict forced humanity to confront the depths of its own capacity for evil. In the aftermath of the war, the world grappled with the task of rebuilding. The formation of the United Nations, a testament to the collective desire for lasting peace, offered a glimmer of hope amidst the wreckage. The world, forever scarred by the horrors it had witnessed, embarked on a new era, shaped by the lessons learned from the crucible of conflict. Section 9, The Scale of Global Involvement. World War II was one of the most expansive conflicts in human history, involving a vast array of nations from every corner of the globe. At the time, the world consisted of fewer sovereign states than it does today. In 1939, there were approximately 70 countries, many of which were colonial territories under European powers. By the war's end in 1945, over 100 countries had been drawn into the conflict, whether through direct military engagement or as part of the global geopolitical landscape. Fast forward to the present day, and the number of recognized sovereign states has grown significantly. As of 2023, there are 195 countries in the world, according to the United Nations. This dramatic increase is largely due to the wave of decolonization that swept through Africa, Asia, and the Middle East in the decades following World War II. Many former colonies gained independence, leading to the emergence of new nations and a more complex international community. The comparison between the number of countries involved in World War II and today's global landscape highlights the profound changes in political geography over the past century. During the war, the major Allied powers included the United States, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, China, and France, while the Axis powers were led by Germany, Japan, and Italy. Numerous other nations, from Canada to Australia, joined the fray, contributing to the war effort in various capacities. In contrast, today's international relations are governed by a broader, more diverse array of states, each with its own unique interests and perspectives. The legacy of World War II, including the establishment of the United Nations and the redrawing of national boundaries, continues to influence global politics and diplomacy. The increase in the number of countries reflects a world that has evolved from the colonial empires of the early 20th century to a more fragmented but interconnected global community. Understanding the scale of global involvement in World War II and the subsequent growth in the number of countries provides valuable context for appreciating the complexities of our modern world. The lessons of the past, particularly the importance of international cooperation and the pursuit of peace, remain as relevant today as they were in the aftermath of the war. Section 10. The Arsenal of War. Weapons and Technology. World War II was a period of unprecedented technological advancement, with rapid developments in military hardware and tactics that forever changed the nature of warfare. On the battlefield, rifles like the American M1 Garand and the German Karabiner 98K became iconic. These weapons were essential for infantrymen, providing reliability and firepower. The M1 Garand, in particular, was praised for its semi-automatic capability, giving American soldiers a significant advantage in rate of fire. Tanks also played a crucial role. The German Tiger tank, with its formidable armor and powerful 88 gun, struck fear into the hearts of Allied forces. Meanwhile, the Soviet T-34 was celebrated for its balance of firepower, mobility, and protection, making it one of the most effective and enduring tanks of the war. In the skies, aircraft became decisive tools of war. Fighter planes like the British Spitfire and the German Messerschmitt Bf-109 engaged in fierce dogfights, while bombers such as the American B-17 Flying Fortress and the British Lancaster delivered devastating payloads on enemy targets. The use of V-2 rockets by Germany marked the beginning of long-range ballistic missile technology. Naval warfare also saw significant advancements. Battleships, aircraft carriers, and submarines played pivotal roles. The American aircraft carrier USS Enterprise and the Japanese battleship Yamato became legendary. Submarines, particularly the German U-boats, wreaked havoc on Allied shipping lanes, employing stealth and surprise to devastating effect. Perhaps the most transformative technological leap was the development of nuclear weapons. The atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States brought about a swift end to the war in the Pacific, but also ushered in the nuclear age, forever altering global military strategy and international relations. These technological advancements not only shaped the outcome of World War II, but also set the stage for modern warfare. The innovations in weaponry and tactics developed during this period continue to influence military strategies and technologies to this day. Understanding these advancements provides insight into the relentless drive for superiority that characterized the conflict and highlights the profound impact of technology on the course of history. Section 11. The Theatres of War, Sea, Air and Ground. World War II was fought across multiple theatres, each with its own unique challenges, strategies, and technological advancements. The major battles and pivotal events in these domains shaped the course of the war and left an indelible mark on history. On the ground, the Eastern Front was a brutal theatre of war, characterized by immense battles and staggering casualties. The Battle of Stalingrad, one of the deadliest confrontations in history, saw the Soviet Union decisively defeat the German army, marking a turning point in the war. The North African campaign, featuring the legendary General Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, and his Afrika Korps, was another crucial ground conflict. The Allied victory at the Battle of El Alamein halted Axis expansion in Africa and paved the way for the invasion of Italy. In the skies, air superiority was a critical factor. The Battle of Britain showcased the resilience of the Royal Air Force, RAF, against the German Luftwaffe's relentless bombing campaign. The strategic bombing campaigns, such as Operation Gomorrah, devastated cities like Hamburg, aiming to cripple the enemy's industrial capacity and morale. The introduction of advanced aircraft, including the American P-51 Mustang and the German Me-262 jet fighter, revolutionized aerial combat. The Daring Do-Little raid, though a minor tactical victory, served as a significant morale booster for the United States. At sea, naval warfare played a decisive role in controlling supply lines and projecting power. The Battle of Midway was a turning point in the Pacific theater, where the United States Navy dealt a crippling blow to the Japanese fleet. The Atlantic theater saw the Battle of the Atlantic, a prolonged struggle for control over vital shipping routes. The Allies developed new strategies and technologies, such as sonar and depth charges, to counter the threat of German U-boats. The island-hopping campaign in the Pacific, including the battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa, demonstrated the strategic importance of naval and amphibious operations. Key figures emerged in each domain, shaping the outcomes of these critical battles. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, orchestrated the successful D-Day invasion, leading to the liberation of Western Europe. Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet, played a pivotal role in the naval battles of the Pacific. Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding's leadership during the Battle of Britain was instrumental in defending the UK from aerial assault. The technological advancements during World War II were staggering. Tanks evolved from the early war models to more advanced designs like the American M4 Sherman and the German Panther. Aircraft carriers became the dominant force in naval warfare, rendering battleships less critical. Radar technology revolutionized both air and naval combat, providing early warning and improving targeting accuracy. These theaters of war, with their unique challenges and innovations, highlight the complexity and scale of World War II. The ground, air, and sea battles, along with the strategies and technologies developed, not only determined the outcome of the conflict, but also laid the foundation for modern military tactics and technology. Understanding these aspects provides a comprehensive view of the global struggle and the relentless drive for victory that defined this monumental period in history. For some countries, the war also brought significant economic and technological advancements. The United States, for instance, emerged as a global superpower, with its economy bolstered by wartime production and innovation. European nations, though devastated, benefited from the Marshall Plan, which facilitated rapid reconstruction and economic recovery. Japan, despite its initial devastation, experienced a remarkable economic boom in the post-war years, transforming into a major industrial power. The Soviet Union expanded its influence across Eastern Europe, establishing a sphere of control that would last for decades. The geopolitical landscape was irrevocably altered, with new alliances and power structures emerging, setting the stage for the Cold War and shaping international relations for the rest of the century. Section 9. Legacies of War, Echoes of the Past, Lessons for the Future. World War II, though a distant memory, continues to cast a long shadow over the world. Its legacies, both positive and negative, shape our present and influence our future. The war spurred technological advancements in medicine, communication, and transportation, but it also ushered in the nuclear age, forever altering the balance of global power. The conflict's impact on geopolitics, international relations, and the global economy continues to resonate. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of World War II is the importance of international cooperation, diplomacy, and the pursuit of peace. The lessons learned from the conflict etched in the memories of those who experienced its horrors firsthand, serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of hatred, intolerance, and unchecked aggression. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, it's imperative to remember the past, to honor the sacrifices of those who fought for freedom, and to strive for a world where the horrors of global conflict are never repeated. World War II, W2, was one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. Here's a detailed overview. How and why it started. 1. Beginning. World War II began on September 1st, 1939, when Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. This prompted Britain and France to declare war on Germany on September 3rd, 1939. 2. Causes. Treaty of Versailles, 1919. Harsh conditions on Germany after WBU created resentment. Rise of fascism and dictatorships. Adolf Hitler in Germany, Benito Mussolini in Italy, and militarists in Japan sought territorial expansion. Japanese expansion. Japan invaded Manchuria, 1931, and China, 1937, seeking dominance in Asia. Appeasement policy. Western powers initially avoided confrontation, allowing Hitler to annex Austria, 1938, and Czechoslovakia, 1939. Nazi-Soviet Pact, 1939. Germany and the Soviet Union agreed to split Poland, emboldening Hitler. When it ended, the war ended on September 2nd, 1945, after Japan's surrender following the dropping of atomic bombs on Hiroshima, August 6th, and Nagasaki, August 9th, by the United States. Major participants. 1. Allied powers, United States, Soviet Union, United Kingdom, China, France, and others. 1. Axis powers, Germany, Japan, Italy, though Italy switched sides in 1943. Who was affected? Nearly every country in the world was affected directly or indirectly. Civilians faced bombings, mass executions, genocide, Holocaust, forced labor, starvation, and displacement. Soldiers from dozens of nations fought in various theaters of war: Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. Who won and lost? 1. Winners, Allied powers. The Allies emerged victorious after defeating the Axis powers. 1. Losers, Axis powers. Germany surrendered on May 7, 1945, VE Day, May 8th. Japan surrendered on August 15, 1945, VJ Day, September 2nd. Weapons and arms used. 1. Land, tanks, for example German Tiger tanks, Soviet T-34, rifles, machine guns, grenades, and flamethrowers. 1. Air, fighter planes, for example Spitfire, Messerschmitt, bombers, for example B-17 Flying Fortress Lancaster, V-2 rockets, used by Germany. 1. Sea, battleships, submarines, for example U-boats, aircraft carriers. 1. Nuclear weapons, atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 1. Chemical weapons, limited use, for example mustard gas, though banned by treaties. 1. Miscellaneous artillery, landmines, and even primitive radar systems. Casualties and death toll, total deaths, estimated at 70-85 million people, around 3% of the global population at the time. Civilians, approximately 50-55 million, including approximately 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust. Military personnel, approximately 21-25 million. Largest casualties were in the Soviet Union, estimated 24 million deaths. Impact: massive destruction of cities, infrastructure, and economies. The creation of the United Nations, UN, to promote global peace. The Cold War began between the US and the Soviet Union. Decolonization movements gained momentum in Asia and Africa. The Holocaust became a defining symbol of human rights violations. Countries involved and their reasons. 1. Germany. Led by Adolf Hitler, Germany sought to overturn the Treaty of Versailles, expand its territory, and establish a dominant Aryan race. 2. Japan. Driven by militaristic and imperial ambitions, Japan aimed to dominate Asia and the Pacific, securing resources and territory. 3. Italy. Under Benito Mussolini, Italy pursued a revival of the Roman Empire, seeking expansion in Africa and the Mediterranean. 4. United States. Initially neutral, the US entered the war after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, aiming to defeat the Axis powers and promote democracy. 5. Soviet Union. Initially allied with Germany through the Nazi-Soviet Pact, the Soviet Union joined the Allies after Germany's invasion in June 1941, seeking to defend its territory and ideology. 6. United Kingdom declared war on Germany to honor its commitment to Poland and to prevent German domination of Europe. 7. China fought against Japanese invasion and occupation, seeking to reclaim its sovereignty and territory. France declared war on Germany alongside the UK, but was quickly occupied by German forces in 1949. Other nations, numerous other countries, joined the Allies or Axis powers, driven by alliances, colonial ties, and the global nature of the conflict. The involvement of these nations, each with its own motivations and goals, turned World War II into a truly global conflict, reshaping the world in its aftermath. As we look back at the shadows of World War II, we remember the pivotal moments that led to the end of the conflict, such as the signing of the surrender documents and the celebrations that followed. The establishment of control and the efforts to rebuild war-torn nations were monumental tasks undertaken by the Allied powers. As we cast our gaze forward to the potential specters of future conflict, the technological advancements that emerged from the crucible of past wars now lay the groundwork for new, more sophisticated forms of warfare. Imagine a battlefield where artificial intelligence commands fleets of autonomous drones, where cyber warriors launch devastating attacks from thousands of miles away, and where space becomes the next frontier of military engagement. The scale and impact of such future conflicts could be unprecedented, dwarfing the horrors of previous wars. Geopolitical tensions simmer around the globe, magnified by resource scarcity and the relentless march of climate change. These factors create a volatile mix where the spark of conflict could ignite global catastrophe. Unlike the conventional weapons and tactics of past wars, future conflicts may see the deployment of bioengineered weapons, sophisticated cyber attacks, and even space warfare. In our interconnected world, the repercussions of such conflicts would be far-reaching, affecting not just the warring nations but the entire globe. The echoes of past wars remind us of the human cost of conflict, but they also urge us to understand and mitigate the potential dangers of future wars. It is crucial that we harness the lessons of history, the advancements in technology, and the spirit of international cooperation to prevent such catastrophic events. In doing so, we honor the sacrifices of the past and strive to build a future where the specters of war are never realized. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.